TikTok time to rock. See if this works. Not sure about the internet in this hotel because, well, internet in hotels doesn't always work very well. And I tested it a couple times and it's kind of going up and down. So it'll be super powerful and then it'll kind of be garbage, but we'll see what happens. So, how's everyone going? Did I say how's everyone going? Yeah, I think I said that. So, yeah, my sleep's been a bit off. Um, yeah, so I'm up here in Morgantown, West Virginia, and Christmas. I'm in this hotel because my brother Manny's over here in the hospital right now. So I'm in a hotel right beside the hospital, which I thought was an awesome idea because then you just go across the street. But turns out there are ambulances going by every day, a lot. So we'll see if we hear some noise here in a second. All right, let's see who we got here. Wait, first of all, you guys hear me? I don't have a mic plugged in. I'm assuming this works. Oh yeah, so I'm trying to stay in the hotel sometime. As I have a horrible cold and I'm not trying to give it to everyone over at that hospital. So I make sure I scrub up pretty thoroughly. Then I go over, see Manny, and then other than that, once I start coughing, I get the heck out of there because yeah, they don't need my germs. Basically, everyone at home got sick from the same cold, and I was the last one to get it. And yep, it's pretty rough. All right, let's trying to pull up these comments here. All right, if you commented like a couple minutes ago, I'm skipping past those. All right, I'm going down to where people said that they can hear me when I ask. All right. I see lots of people saying prayers for Manny. People have been asking me for an update. I'll probably post an update tomorrow, but there's not much change. So the situation was Manny was at a convenience store a few days ago. He was at a convenience store and was acting really weird. So the convenience store clerk, and if you're really new, if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, Manny is my youngest brother, but like everyone in the family except me has a drug problem, and Manny's kind of the worst in that he habitually just returns to really bad stuff. So it's not like he sits around and smokes weed a lot or something like that. He'll basically take anything. It doesn't matter if it's heroin, meth, all kinds of pills. He'll just take it, and he kind of goes to an extreme with it. Right? He doesn't just take a little bit. He'll like be at the border of death pretty regularly. So that's not always going to work out. You only get so many shots here. And so anyway, he was at a convenience store, and it's weird because this time it was apparently he had a couple drugs in his system, but it was apparently what he told EMS was that he had taken ecstasy, and the doctors pointed out that you don't always know what is mixed in that ecstasy. So anyway, he was at a convenience store and was acting weird. The clerk at the convenience store called an ambulance. Manny was just conscious and talking to them when they got him in the ambulance. But yeah, by the time he was over here at the hospital, his kidneys shut down, his liver shut down, his heart stopped. I still don't know how they wouldn't have pumped blood to his brain, but somehow whatever was going on, blood to his brain stopped, and so he was for a fair amount of time without oxygen to his brain. So that's the situation he was in, and they're basically they don't know how much he's going to recover or if he's going to recover. He he has when they shine the light in your eyes and stuff like that, his eyes react to it, and they he has reflexes, but those are basically the activities that they know he has right now are the brain stem. So that's the lowest part and the most basic functions of your brain. So that the thinking and all that's the higher order functions, those are up here, and that's what they want to find out if he still has. They don't know, but he they kind of don't know because his brain is still swollen inside his head, and so they're saying they don't actually know until that swelling goes down what the situation is going to be. So yeah, so they basically had him loaded up with ice pads when we got here because they want to cool the body down because if your brain is swollen and stuff, they want to ice they want to cool your brain way down so that it helps preserve brain function. And so let me see here. I'm just trying to check out some comments here, but yeah, so they want to preserve brain function, but your brain also doesn't work well if it's chilled. So then they started warming him up again, and then he was all warmed up and still not responding to anything. But again, his brain is still swollen, so they're going to try and get that brain swelling down, and then it's going to be a question of what he can do. His might just be brain stem function if he doesn't recover any normal functions, or might recover a lot of function, but won't know until the swelling in the brain goes down. So, yeah, so that's why I'm up here in West. Sorry, I'm going to bust into fits of coughing here a couple times. I'm trying to solve that problem with these cough drops. Anyway, so that's why I'm up here in the hotel room. I actually grew up here in West Virginia, not in Morgantown, but a little right outside Morgantown, a little place called Granville, which is basically a big giant trailer park of a city. And so have a lot of family up here. So yesterday afternoon, went to Thanksgiving dinner, my cousin Brandy's, and had a bunch of family there and stuff. And all right, so I'm stuck here in the hotel room. I will, after I'm done, take a shower, get all scrubbed up, and then go see how Manny's doing. But yeah, basically they said 48 to 72 hours from I can't even keep track of days right now. So it's from the 23rd. They said the evening of the 23rd. Oh, Tony Green said, I'm buffering a bit. Yo, how's it going, Tony? Hey, that might be your computer. I don't know, though. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so I think it was from the 23rd. I'm trying to think when they told us this, but they said basically 48 to 72 hours, which is basically between today and tomorrow, that they'll have a better idea of what's going on with Manny. Meaning that once they get a swelling down, they're going to find out how he's doing, what kind of function he has. So that's the situation here. Now I do have I got other kids, and I got kids who are disabled that I need to help. So I can't, sucks, can't actually stay up here until, because we don't know. Again, we don't know what the situation is. He might be in here a long, long time. Um, but yeah, I'm probably going to have to head home tomorrow, and my mom will stay here. And all right. Um, all right. So probably hang out here for a little while. The Real Hope said, "Can Manny talk?" No, Manny's not doing anything. Manny has machines doing everything for him. His kidneys are still not working, so he's hooked up for dialysis. And yeah, that's the situation. So no, Manny's not talking. Manny's not looking around. Manny's not doing anything. His eyes occasionally slightly open, but that is most likely just random stuff going on. Let's see. Tatiana said, "How's your mom doing?" Yeah, not great. And it's kind of weird, you know. I mean, again, I pointed this out in this other video. We're just, you know, we're chilling and watching Star Wars or whatever, and then you know, figuring out, getting ready for Christmas, figuring out what we're gonna cook for Christmas, stuff like that. And yeah, and she finds out her son is in the hospital. Oh, and Carm giving me some advice here. Before I go home and walk in my house, clean the bottoms of my shoes, disinfect them. Well, if it's the same cold, fortunately everyone at my house has had it. So, but yeah, I might want to get cleaned up. I might want to get cleaned up just from being in that hospital. Let me see. Gerard says, there was a queue from 60 Minutes Australia that came to Staten Island because of the opioid epidemic. Someone visited our church recently who had lost his entire leg using drugs. Yeah, and apparently this area of West Virginia has reached epidemic levels. And yeah, again, if you're getting something that human beings are making, you don't know what's in that stuff. And so what's really creepy is if Manny had that reaction to just some bad ecstasy, what sucks is that's probably part of a larger batch of ecstasy. You know what I mean? In other words, that's probably being passed around to other people. And I'm getting these home remedies for my cold here. John Noonan said, you need to get some homemade hot mustard from a Chinese restaurant, not the stuff in the packet. I guarantee in 20 minutes you'll start feeling relief. At home, I actually sometimes do that. I'll take it's called Dave's Insanity Sauce, not after me, after the famous hot sauce maker, Dave. But it's called Dave's Insanity Sauce. It's not like regular sauce that you would pour on, you know, put on your eggs or something like that. It's basically one drop of this stuff will light you up. But I'll take some of that and stick it in some soup or something like that, and it'll light me up. And then, but yeah, it'll help out. But I'll try that. What'd you say? Hot mustard, homemade hot mustard. Homemade hot mustard. Well, look, if it's homemade, then how do I know if they're making the good stuff? All right. Niall said, David, how's your face healing from surgery? I don't know. I think it's all right. So right there, probably gonna be a little scar, but it's like right on the spot where I wear my glasses. So I don't think it's terrible. Oh, by the way, if anyone else has this, that's basal cell carcinoma. If you get that, anytime you get anything, people start sending you recommendations. Oh, if you just take this, and you can't always trust some recommendation because people see stuff in an internet article or something like that, or they know someone who some other treatment worked for. Doesn't mean that other treatment will work for you. So someone in Marie's family, her aunt and uncle, sent me well, they sent it to Marie and then she gave it to me. But it's a link to this cream, and it's this cream you put on there, and it takes months. You just keep putting this stuff on the the skin cancer every day, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. It starts looking nasty, right? It looks like your entire face is getting infected. But eventually, then it all just falls off. And the plus side is there's no surgery, and your skin is just completely clear. And so they sent that, and I was thinking, what kind of quack product is this? But I went ahead and looked it up, and there are actually like medical journal articles on this stuff that actually works. It's considered a trade-off, meaning that you have to go months looking like a monster with this stuff all over your face, but at the end, it's cancer. I mean, you're skin cancer free, and you don't have to do any surgery. But again, you have to spend a couple months looking all weird. Or you get surgery, they chop it out, but you have a scar, but it's over pretty quickly, and then you have a scar. Me, I don't care about scars. I just wanted to get it out of my face, so just went ahead and did that. But for any of you who are concerned, if you get the same thing, and if you get the same thing and you don't want a scar, and you can sort of wear a bandage over your face for a couple months so that people don't see how this thing is festering, then that is an option. Swagger Husky said, "Who's next in the Boom Boom Room?" We have several episodes that we've recorded already, but basically we just we just had Muhammad convert to Christianity, so we have to get around that. And so obviously he's going to apostatize, and we're thinking he's probably going to flip out once he realizes that Jesus and his early followers were all Jews. Now you know that from the Quran, but we're just thinking maybe he didn't read it because he can't read. So anyway, we're going to figure it out. But basically, he's going to flip out that they're all Jews, and then he's going to apostatize, and then we'll be right back to normal. But some of the ones we have recorded already, we have with John McCrae, we have Muhammad meets R. Kelly, because R. Kelly's going through some legal battles right now along some of the same lines as things that Muhammad did. And it's actually pretty funny. Actually, but it's funny because John wrote that script, so we had a different writer for this one. And we have Muhammad meets Michael Jackson. And I don't mean to give spoilers here, but it's funny because you think that they're going to be talking about their things they've done with kids or something like that, but that's not what they end up talking about at all. So they go in a different direction. And then we recorded the apostate prophet as Sigmund Freud, but that one actually gets very interesting. Muhammad ends up on a couch being psychoanalyzed by Sigmund Freud, and Sigmund Freud is Sigmund Freud is basically psychoanalyzing Muhammad on a couch, and Freud is like horrified at the things that have happened in Muhammad's life and how they're going to affect him. So he's telling Muhammad, look, whatever happens, you can't get power over other people. You can't ever get power over other people. You were going to mess those people up. And then Muhammad's going to say, what are you talking about? I have 1.6 billion followers. And then Freud is just like, oh no. So he realizes this is bad to have someone with Muhammad's psychological issues controlling so many people. So we have some episodes like those recorded. My voice is going. We'll see. If my voice just completely goes, I'm probably gonna sign off. We've been planning to have seasons of basically 25 episodes. So in other words, once we have 20, we have 17 that have been posted so far. But basically, once we have 25 episodes, then we're going to call that a season and probably take off for, like 2 months, just not record Boom Boom Rooms, because it is a lot of work doing those. So, for one of my normal videos, I'll figure out what I'll get an idea for a video. It might be a topic that came up that day, like if there's a terrorist attack or something like that, then I know what I'm going to be talking about that day. But so I'll get an idea, for something, something apologetics or something like that, and then start planning out what I'm going to say. Take a long time, take several hours, depending on how depending on how much I need to work on the topic, whether it's a 5-minute video or a 20-minute video or something like that. I might spend a couple hours on working on the material. Might spend days working on the material, but then I get the recording, and usually takes about 3 to 4 times as long to record it as the actual video is. So for like a 10-minute video, I'll probably be recording for like half an hour because I'll mess up, and so I'll mess up a section. I'll just go start over speaking, because you can see right now, if you hear me speaking, I say if I focus, then I don't. If I focus on what are called, they're called non-fluencies, things like that. Those are called non-fluencies. But if I focus on them, then I don't have those very much, and I can speak more clearly. And so I'll basically do a section of a video, and then if I messed up, I'll just go and do it over again, until I get it exactly how I want it. And then I take all these pieces of my video and then splice them all together. And then on those times where I had to start over and start a section over, I just put some sort of picture or graphic up on the screen. So when you're watching my videos and you see, pictures popping up on the screen or verses popping up on the screen, those are breaking points. So I don't need to, in other words, I can't record an entire 10-minute video without messing up, but I can record 45 seconds without messing up. So I record a bunch of, 45-minute sections or minute-long sections, put them all together, and then I have a video that's exactly what I want. But that takes a while. But the point is, it's not anywhere near what it takes to do an episode of the Boom Boom Room. So, we have to figure out who's going to be in the Boom Boom Room, and then we have to, one of us will write the entire script. Then we'll get together and we'll revise the script, add anything we want to add until we actually have a final script. Then we record them. I have to go all the way out to Vocabs, so I have to fly across the country to go to Vocabs, and we record those in his little kitchen room dining area. And so we'll record that. Then I have the footage, but then the editing is just a nightmare. It'll actually take me a couple days, not a couple days of nonstop editing, but it'll take me a couple days of editing just to edit one of those. And basically I'll do parts at a time. I'll cut up all Vocab's lines as Muhammad, and that'll take a while. And then like the next day I'll cut up all my parts and stuff like that. And then another day I'll splice them all together. And so that's how that's going. And so basically it's way more work than a normal video, but it's fun. So basically we're trying to get to 25. We're trying to get to 25, not 25 in the entire series, 25 in the season. And so again, we have 17 now. We have a few more recorded. So I'm going to go out to Vocabs here in about 2 weeks. We're going to record whatever the remainder is to get to a complete season of 25. And the ones we're planning on recording, mostly based on request. So the most requested ones I've seen recently. Shout out to Earthen Mystique for joining the Boom Squad. What was I talking about? The ones most of the ones we're recording are just because tons of people have requested them. So we're gonna record Muhammad meets that Epstein dude, and what's cool because that allows the topic of suicide, because you got Epstein, and then most Muslims don't know that Muhammad repeatedly tried to kill himself, especially towards the beginning of his revelations. At first he thought he was demon possessed, so he started throwing himself off a cliff to tried to hurl himself off a cliff because he thought he was demon possessed. Then later, when he concluded that he's a prophet, because his wife and her cousin convinced him that no, you're not demon possessed, you're a prophet. Then the revelations stopped, and then he tried to kill himself because he thought the angel had abandoned him and he was bad. So he went and tried to hurl himself off a cliff again. So basically, early on in Muhammad's ministry, keep in mind he's in his 40s during this time. Muhammad in his 40s. If something went wrong, his first inclination was to go try and hurl himself off a cliff. And that this is the guy who's the pattern of conduct for everyone in Islam. So anyway, that'll be fun to have that they can have those kinds of conversations, because you notice these videos, we're not just making fun. I mean, one, we kind of make Muhammad a likable character. A lot of people actually like our version of Muhammad, because he'll flip out and blow you up and stuff, but he's kind of like laughably likable, kind of stupid guy. And we notice we do have him make some good points along the way. So anyway, it's actually interesting, I think, to get him into different discussions. But notice they're all content based. They're all content driven. We're in every video we're making points about the history of Muhammad and things like that. So anyway, we want to get the Epstein one. I think we're going to do Alexander the Great. I can't find a good Alexander the Great costume. The closest thing I could find is a Roman costume, like Roman soldier costume. But I don't think many people would notice the difference, so I might just roll with that. Probably the angel Gabriel. And so the idea of the angel Gabriel one would be the angel Gabriel shows up and Muhammad is introducing the person but has no idea who it is. And so he says, "Who are you?" And I'll be like, "I'm the angel Gabriel." And he'll say, "You're not the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel is this red guy with horns and stuff like this." And Gabriel's going to say, "That's Satan." And Muhammad's going to say, "That's not Satan. Satan's a black man," because in Ibn Asaq, Muhammad said that Satan looks like a black man. So anyway, something like that. We're thinking of doing Sam Shamoun in there, having Sam Shamoun in there, either as Hulk Hogan, because he has a spot on Hulk Hogan imitation, or having Sam as the Black Stone, like the Black Stone in Mecca. So for that, I would have I would just cover Sam's entire head in shoe polish, and then probably green screen him inside that. I don't know if you've ever seen the Black Stone that's on the corner of the mosque in Mecca, but it has this sort of silver frame around it. So might green screen Sam's head inside there, and he'll be covered in shoe polish, so he'll be the Black Stone. And then the big thing is going to be Muhammad trying to resist kissing Sam's big giant head. But they'll get to talk a lot about paganism in Islam. So we have those, a couple of those, and so Alexander the Great, Epstein, a couple more, and I think the 25th episode. So the season finale will be Muhammad meets David Wood, and we're probably going to get kind of meta on that. When you get meta, you're actually sort of looking at the whole thing from a higher plane, and I'll probably be having a conversation with Muhammad, and he'll be whining or something like that, and I'll say, "Why are you hitting yourself?" And he'll say, "What are you talking about? I'm not." And then he'll bust himself in the head with the detonator, and he won't be able to figure out what's going on. And I'll explain to him that because I write the script, I can make him do whatever I want, and so he'll be freaking out over me being able to control him. And the point of the real point of that video, I mean, one of the main points of that video will be that's kind of what Muhammad does with everyone, right? Moses, Abraham, Jesus. Muhammad does that with everyone. He's writing the script in the Quran, and so he can kind of make them do whatever he wants. And Muslims look at this and say it's good, when guess what? I can do it, and I can just have your prophet beating himself senseless with his detonator. I can do that. Anyone can do that. So anyway, that's the direction we're going. But yep. So we're going to try and record those final episodes of the season here in 2 weeks, and then what's cool is we'll have all the recording done for the next couple months worth of episodes, and I don't have to do any more recording for that. But yeah, during that time when we don't have to record episodes, planning on going and recording vocab. If you saw, we made a video of vocab talking about that group, the Hebrew Israelites, and did an awesome job. And I'd like to get vocab does lots of live streams and stuff like that, but he's kind of not used to recording videos like that, where we get everything exactly the way basically making it as concise as possible while having all the information that we want in there. So yeah, when we're not recording Boom Boom Rooms for a couple months, I'm probably gonna still come out to Phoenix and try to get a bunch of videos of vocab for record those for his channel. Talking about the Hebrew Israelites and stuff, so make some nice, concise content. All right, let's go on to some more questions here. That look, all he asked was who's next in the Boom Boom Room, and I think I talked for like what 10 or 15 minutes or something. Hindu historian says, "Are Muslims abusing you about your brother? If so, will you make a video about that?" I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I've seen Muslims saying, hey, we disagree with you, but we hope the best for your brother or something like that. So I've been getting nice comments, but I really just have not been paying attention to comments. So I'm sure people are saying nasty things. If I were to make a video, yeah, it's always easy to do, right? It's always easy to do. So just how this goes is, you've basically got my family, which is massively dysfunctional. I'm the one who kind of made it out of that because I became a Christian and took it very seriously, and so didn't do a lot of stuff. And also I didn't do stuff before, like I didn't mess around with drugs and stuff before. But so now you have this situation where certain people in my family, like my brother Manny, or my brother John. My brother John's been locked up. He's out now. He's doing well, but Manny had it kind of worse in that Manny has sort of the same issue I am, namely we're just not scared of much. You know what I mean? Just by nature, just Manny's always doing dangerous stuff. He will fight 5 people at the same time, 7 people at the same time, and they could just they could bash his skull in. He doesn't know what's going to happen. But just does not take. I don't know. We're lacking some sort of factor that would normally keep most people from doing the stupid stuff that we do. That can be used for good, right? If you are in a situation like you're dealing with jihadis on a daily basis, well, it helps not being afraid. If you're about to take some drugs and you're just not scared of what's going to happen to you, you're going to get into some trouble. So that's the situation. But anyway, so when people post nasty comments, it'll be like, your brother is in the hospital, or your brother's been locked up. You see, Allah is cursing you. And a couple of ways you can respond to that. It's actually very easy, right? So, I can just point out that, well, you just refuted the Quran then, because the Quran over and over again says it's the individual who will be punished for what he's done, not other people who didn't do it, right? So that's, in other words, their objection to Jesus dying on the cross for sins is that each person has to pay the penalty for what he did, not for what other people have done. So if they're going to say that's the position, by the way, that's not, the position in Islam is not that easy, because Muhammad also says that Jews and Christians will be punished in hell for the sins of Muslims. So it's not actually as simple as Muslims think, but your average Muslim thinks that Islam has this great system of justice because the person who does the sin is the one who gets punished and other people don't get punished for what he did. But notice, given what Muslims say, my entire family is being punished because I talk about Islam. And so Allah he can't get to me directly, so he has to go through like drug addicts in my family and go after them and get them to OD, because he can't go after me. So notice, if you take that seriously, why can't Allah just go after me, right? I'm the one doing stuff. That's what Muslims think he does. They think he just goes after the person who does it. Well, here I am. Why is he going after my brother who has nothing to do with anything? So not the most coherent position. So I can go. I can respond to it that way. The other way to respond is just to go back through the life of Muhammad and look at what happened to him. I mean, all the people who died, his kids all died. So it's a situation where if you want to say, your family members dying, you have to take that as the curse of God. Well, you can make a if that's the case, if that's how you want to roll, you have a better case that Muhammad was cursed than just about pretty much anyone else in history. Because almost everyone around this guy, everyone who's even close to this guy, dies. His dad before he's born, his mom when he's around 6, his grandfather 2 years later, every relationship gone, and that's just when he that's when he's young, and that trend continues when he gets older, and so yeah. But again, I don't pay attention to just everyone who comes along. I understand. I make videos about Muhammad. I understand people are going to get mad about it. I understand they're going to react in an angry fashion and say something mean. So I don't always make much of an issue unless it becomes like a lot or becomes like especially nasty, like with Nabil. I was getting tons and tons and tons of comments from Muslims saying that Nabil was cursed, and so in that situation, I actually made a video response. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Turb here said, "Would massive financing help you regarding apologetics in the future?" Yeah, I think I think massive financing would help pretty much anyone in apologetics, especially what we do. So I'm actually good on financing as far as like what I'm doing. Like as far as making my videos, I'm fine on financing. As far as expanding and doing more stuff, yes. If massive financing ever comes along, there's lots more stuff that we could do. I'll actually probably post something in the next couple days for anyone who wants to do like end of the year donations and stuff like that, because there is some stuff that I want to basically we're kind of trying to build it like an empire, like an online apologetics empire. And what I mean there is we a lot of us kind of act like Rambos, right? Like we kind of do our own thing. And one of the things that we started doing recently was the apologists who are online. We started getting together because we want to figure out how we can kind of help each other. Basically, here's the situation: you got, let's suppose, I have like 400 and some thousand subscribers. So let's suppose this is like all of my subscribers. Well, I deal with several topics. I spend a lot of time dealing with Islamic topics and so on. So you take someone else who's doing apologetics online. He might not deal with, Islam at all. He might deal with other stuff like, just Christian topics like Jesus' resurrection or the existence of God. So if you look at all of my subscribers, basically a lot of those won't be interested in that other guy's channel, but some of them will be, because some people are interested. Some of the people who watch my stuff are interested in that. And basically we kind of, I want to introduce people to all these other guys so that, of that 400,000, the people who are interested in that guy's channel, the material that guy covers, that they know about him, and they actually, can watch some of his videos and find out if they want to subscribe and watch his stuff. So basically, we're trying to figure out how we're going to work together as far as helping each other out and making sure that we maximize our effectiveness. We're planning on, we're starting conferences. In other words, apologetics conferences, like at a church and churches and so on, but made up of like the guys from YouTube. And we're going to see how that goes. And we'll basically try it, see if people are interested, and if they are, we'll keep it rolling. I recommended the name Apologetics Roadshow. I think I got outvoted as a Apologeticon, so they're doing Apologeticon. But basically, we're gonna get together, do an apologetics conference. We're also getting together behind the scenes, working on strategies and so on. So anyway, that's like kind of all YouTube apologists. I'd be fine helping pretty much anyone that I can help, even if there are people who don't agree with how I roll on YouTube and stuff like that. Actually, I don't care. People are free to disagree with me. I would be, if they're making good content, I'd still be happy to help them be as effective as possible. But so that's that. But at the same time, you also have people who are working together more closely. So I work with John McCrae and Vocab Malone pretty regularly, and Yeah, I come up with ideas way faster than I can ever implement those ideas. So I come up with ideas like, Muhammad's Boom Boom Room and stuff like that all the time. I usually can't do most of them because there's just not enough time. But the idea here in the here in the future would be some more guys working together, right? If more guys are working together, and some of those guys can actually do editing and stuff like that, or even hire people to do lots of the stuff, then that allows us to do a lot more stuff. So instead of doing just the Boom Boom Room and regular videos, it's regular videos and the Boom Boom Room and these other 3 or 4 things. And just so you know, the end, what I'm looking towards. So this doesn't necessarily have to be soon. This could be years down the road. What I would eventually like to see 4 or 5 kind of YouTube Christian apologists all living in the same area, because it's just massively helpful having other people who do video work and other people who do YouTube and stuff like that. You just come up with you get stuff done much more quickly when you're working as a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. Remember that. But basically, a couple guys like that, and then like some sort of tech guy who does all the tech stuff, and maybe another guy who's like an editor and knows the programs really well, Final Cut and Premiere and all those things. But basically, have all of us in the same area. Spring for like a simple studio, just a place where we can all get together and have a place to record, stuff like that. Have us all in the same area and treat it like treat the studio like a war room. So, hey, Tony, what are you doing? I'll text Kane later. He can, we'll see what he's doing. So basically the situation would be, you got a team of 4 or 5 or 6 guys, and then, a tech guy and an editor, stuff like that. These guys, wake up in the morning, sit down and say, all right, this just am I live again? Guys, this is not going to last because the internet just went down to a horrible range. So I'm on there through my phone, but I have like a fraction of one. This is not going to last long, so I think we'll go ahead. We're going to have to probably wrap up here, unless I might just try going back to the hotel internet here in a second. But yeah. So basically, if I go out another once or twice, then we'll go ahead and stop. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. All right, I'm on a lower resolution too, so we'll hope that helps. All right, people are saying still buffering, and other people are saying live. All right, we'll go and wrap it up because man, I hate when technology is not working. It's annoying. It's a massive distraction. So what were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about plans. So yeah, I'll probably go ahead and wrap that up. Yeah, again, sorry. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, plans. So yeah, the idea would be we're in kind of a room and we figure out who's going to do what for the day, and then in the evenings, I'd like to have enough cool guys that we could go live like every night, and it's kind of like a free-for-all because there's like 4 or 5 of us. So the idea would be there's a computer and there's someone at the computer. Other guys can just be in the background at a table or something like that. And then when a topic comes up, it's, oh, hey, you're the guy for this topic, because that's your specialty. So get over here, and that person can have that discussion, stuff like that. Anyway, do online debates, things like that. That's the plan for sometime down the road. So sometime down the road would be kind of each person still works on his own channel, but he has other people around him to help him. And then you have the obvious, the collaborations where they're working on stuff together. And then, of course, you have stuff where then you have the live streaming as well. So anyway, yeah, so the idea is, I think people could actually make a huge impact on the internet by doing something like that. So that's sort of long term goal as far as what to do. But so anyway, the question was, would does financing help? So yeah, it does. It does. You have to have it. So again, the point was, given what I do now, I'm fine. But for other stuff that we want to do in the future, then yeah, yeah, there's other stuff we want to do. Like one thing I want to start doing next year is that I just know so many former Muslims. I want to go around and start recording them, but like more, uh, professional style, because it's just nice for them to have good recordings of their testimony that then they can use, but then they can be out there. Again, I just know so many ex-Muslims whose stories aren't out there yet, and like to get some good recordings of people explaining how they became Christians or why they left Islam. And the reason is because if you talk to ex-Muslims, you hear the same stories over and over and over and over and over again about how they were raised and what they thought, and then, what they thought when their belief was being challenged and how they reacted, and then, if they left Islam, how their family reacted and things like that. You hear the same stories over and over. So I think the more stories like that there are out there, the more it'll help Muslims who are going through those difficulties. Like, oh, I'm not the only one. Almost every Muslim goes through something similar, something like that. So anyway, that situation. Well, I'm impressed that this garbage phone internet that I've got right now is on. My phone's about to die too. So multiple technical difficulties. Anyway, that's fine though, because we're sort of coming up on the hour, and that's probably, if we somehow make it to 9 o'clock, probably get off there at 9 o'clock, and then I'm gonna scrub up and head over to check on Manny. I have to probably leave West Virginia unless there's some important reason for me to be here. I'll probably leave West Virginia tomorrow, but I'll probably record a video update for everyone, like similar to the other video I posted. I'll probably post a video update for everyone. In other words, I'll go record Manny and explain the situation right now and post that just so everyone knows. All right, what do I got? I got about 7 minutes or something if this internet works. Let's see. Oh, Alan said, "What wasn't John McCrae supposed to do a documentary on you?" Yeah, John contacted me. Said, "Hey, I'm doing a documentary on you," and I said, "Okay, you can do a documentary on me," because he wanted to go like back into detail and like go like on location, which a lot of that would be like here in West Virginia, and go through a lot of my backstory. Because keep in mind what you saw, those of you who watch my testimony video, you saw like a tiny fraction, and that was massively watered down. So John wanted to go into more detail. I told him there's something he should hold off on that for a little while, because there's going to be a much better opportunity to do to do something like that. So I told John, I said, hey, here's some stuff that's coming up. You might want to wait until after that. So yes, John is actually planning on doing a documentary on me, and we'll probably make it fun and do stupid stuff. Like I'll take, we'll go on location to a spot where, in the testimony video, I was running from the cops and swam a river, and probably go back to that same spot, stuff like that. Take, just go around to all the places that are relevant, all the stories. Maybe find some people I grew up with or something like that. Get them in there. Hannah says, buffering in Alberta, Canada. I don't think I'm still buffering. Maybe that was an old one. Draper says, Muhammad was a narcissist, pedophile, genocidal, terrorist, misogynist, lecher, cult leader, madman, rapist, torturer, assassin, and looter. Don't base your life on him unless you want to go to hell. It is very interesting, the sort of collection of things that Muhammad did, and that he could still possibly be considered a pattern of conduct for other people. And the point here is, if you were to make a list of like the worst things a person could do, and you were to make like a top 10 list of the worst things a person could do. Muhammad did like 6 or 7 of the things on the top 10 list. And so to point to that and say, that's the guy that we all need to imitate, that is some wild, wild stuff. And we know how this happens, right? So Muhammad, he becomes a prophet in 7th century Arabia. And a lot of this stuff would have, like having sex with a 9-year-old girl, a lot of that stuff can be normal in that culture. Going out and slaughtering people who disagree with you, they were okay with that once Muhammad started doing it. But the situation you have is, if you can get a big enough mob on your side so that you can go out and subjugate other people, which is what Muhammad did. And by the way, when he's just preaching a message of, hey, just believe in one God and we'll just, be monotheists and stuff, most people didn't listen to him. Most people didn't care. It's when his message changed to join me, and if we'll go out and rob our enemies and subjugate people and we'll take their stuff. And so if you join me, you get to divide up other people's stuff that we're going to take and subjugate people and get sex slaves. But if you don't survive, if you die in battle, well, then you go to paradise and you're going to have a bunch of virgins and you get to spend eternity deflowering these virgins, right? When he started preaching that, that's when he started winning massive numbers of converts. So he built up a huge mob of converts that way. And once you have that massive number of converts, then no one's allowed to object, right? Then at that point, you're not allowed to say, hey, why did Muhammad swear an oath to his wives that he would stop having sex with a slave girl, and then go back and break the oath and say that Allah ordered him to do it? What in the world is that? You couldn't say that. They'd chop your head off for saying that, right? So you set up a system. You get enough people to enforce a policy, and you have a system set up where the policy is, if you criticize Muhammad, you die. Well, then there is no criticism. There is no criticism of Muhammad. And that's how you can be a horrible, horrible person in numerous ways and do some of the most horrible things anyone's ever done and still be called the greatest man who ever lived. So there are basically 2 paths to being the greatest man who ever lived. One is that to actually be the greatest man who ever lived. The other is to get such a mob of violent people around you that they'll kill anyone who says you're not the greatest man who ever lived. So those are the 2 ways to be known as the greatest man who ever lived. Muhammad did the latter. Jatinder said, "Dave, why is YouTube cutting your live?" No, I don't think that's YouTube. I believe that's the internet in this hotel, which it just fluctuates massively up and down. Look at this dirtbag hater, Shamoon. Shamoonian says, you guys game for that? Go live on my channel? Why would anyone want to go to your channel, Sam? I understand it's like 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, so some people may be ready for bed soon, and they may have been up all day, and they may still be excited because it's Christmas, and they might need to get to sleep. So they might need your channel. They might need your channel to help them go to sleep. But that doesn't, there are other ways for people to fall asleep, not just going to your channel. So, all right. I'm still getting comments about the buffering and stuff. So I think I'm going to go ahead and log off now. I don't know. Yeah, I could try switching back to the hotel internet now, but I think I'm gonna flip out probably if I go back there and then it just cuts off again or something like that. All right, so guys, Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh, people are people are liking my comments about Sam. Yeah, guys, if you want to get blocked by Sam, just go over to his channel. It'll be the best thing that ever happened to you. It's kind of a badge of honor getting blocked by Sam Shamoon. Just go over to Sam's channel and then say anything that he could even conceivably disagree with. Just whatever position he takes, and he'll take some super specific position on some issue that's held by like 5 people in the world. And if you so much as question anything he says, you'll be blocked forever. And so you can say, hey, we're talking about financing ministries and stuff like that. I might start a t-shirt business, making t-shirts that say, I got blocked by Sam Shamoon, and then just sell those shirts. But that's like, you're talking about like, I could sell millions of shirts that way because of all the people that Sam Shamoon blocks. So anyway, that could finance an entire ministry. All right, let me see if there's any last. Getting lots of Christmas wishes from Sarah here. Merry Christmas, Sam. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Bless you abundantly. So that's my good deed. That's my good deed for the day. And then we have people pointing out, Sham, go to sleep. Funny story. Before me and Sam ever met, we kind of we had a big argument. We were in this back then people used emails to do their sort of debating. So this is before YouTube. But there were several Christians and several Muslims having an argument. It was started by a Muslim. A Muslim like emailed all of us together and then started everyone arguing on some topics. And Sam was kind of like the most popular guy on the internet back then, writing articles and stuff like that, just wreaking havoc on Islam. And so the Muslims in that group were all jumping all over Sam, talking trash about Sam. And then Sam flipped out, just started making fun of them. And I said, "Hey, Sam," and I responded to Sam in front of everyone on the email thread. And I said, "Hey, Sam, these guys didn't call you mean names, so you shouldn't be calling them mean names." And one of the Muslims there, I'll go ahead and tell you, it was Farhan Qureshi. Farhan Qureshi is no longer a Muslim, but Farhan was there, and Farhan said, "Thanks for that, David. It was real Christ-like of you." And then I was thinking, wait a minute, why is he? Because there are people who will use that against Christians, right? And there are Christians who fall for it. He called me Christ-like. I'm really making a difference. When a Muslim starts praising me, then I'm like, hey, what's happening right here? So Farhan said it was real Christ-like, and then Sam messages me on the side, and he's like, "Don't you ever correct me like that? You weren't even paying attention, And so Sam flipped out on me, and he pointed out that Farhan was calling him Sham. He wasn't calling him Sam. He was calling him Sham. So he was basically calling Sam names. And so I had to go back, and then Sam said, "If you ever pull a stunt like that again, I will crush you." And Sam's a hothead, right? So he flipped out over that. He said, "Oh, I'll crush you." And I was like, "Oh, really? Let's go and find out." So I went back over there, and I said, "Look, I apparently missed the part where Farhan was calling Sam Sham, so I was wrong for saying that he hadn't called him any names. But Sam's still a jerk because blah, 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 blah." So I talked more trash about him and stuff like that. And anyway, that's just something that happens in what we do. The people who sort of make it long-term, dealing with Islam, responding to objections, trying to show Muslims the truth about their prophet. The people who make it long-term are basically two categories of people. Either they're like the most loving people around. So the super, super loving people, so loving that it doesn't matter what you do to them. They're just going to keep pursuing Muslims in love because that's just the kind of people they are, right? They just have a heart and a passion for Muslims. And then there are people who, at the same time, there are people who just don't like bullies, don't back down from anything, can't be threatened, can't be intimidated, usually aggressive personality types. And so that's like me and Sam and a lot of other guys where, we look at Islam as like this most epic bully system in the world and oppressing people all around the world. And we don't, someone needs to call that stuff out. So we call it out. But the kind of, those kind of people, the aggressive types, here's some system over here that's oppressing people. Let's go throw ourselves in front of it. Those kinds of people also, if they get into an argument, will just start blasting away at each other. And so it's just a personality type thing. So anyway, those are kind of the two kinds of people who last long term, because when you start dealing with Islam, if you start trying to share the gospel with Muslims or spread the truth about things that Muhammad said and did, if you start doing that, it's about to get bad. I've seen people, oh man, they're fresh out of school and stuff like that. I want to go reach Muslims, and I want to go online and start reaching Muslims with the gospel, and then catch those same people 4 or 5, 6 months later, they want to do something else, because as soon as people in the online Muslim community, some of those people found out what these guys were doing, they just start heaping massive abuse and threats and everything else on these people, and people just decide, I want to go do something else. And so you might want to think about what kind of person you are, because it's an awesome, if you can get past that, right? If you're one of those kinds of people, you're really loving, and you want to pursue Muslims, and you don't care what abuse they heap on you or what kind of threats they send at you. If you can get past that sort of thing that way, or if you're just, you don't like to take crap from people who are threatening you, and the more they threaten you, the more you're going after their profit. If you're like that, if you can get past the abuse that they heap on you, there's not a lot they can do after that, right? They have one methodology. I mean, they have another methodology, which is kill you. But for most people, they're not going to kill you. In other words, if they were going to kill someone, if a jihadi wakes up one day and says, "I want to go kill someone who's doing something about Islam," they're probably going to go kill me or Sam Shamoun or Vocab. They're not going to come kill you. So you're actually pretty safe. So the real thing that you have to deal with if you want to respond to Islam is people heaping abuse and insults at you and stuff like that, and threatening to kill you and kill your wife and rape your daughters and kill your sons. And if you can basically get past that, you can. We're living in the best time in the world, the best time in all of history, to reach Muslims with the gospel, to defend the gospel, and to refute Islam. So we're the first generation that has the kind of opportunities that we have right now. 14 centuries of Christians interacting with Muslims, 14 centuries where the Christians could not have dreamed of the opportunities that we have right now, where, I could go live. If I had better internet, I could go live and talk to Muslims around the world right now, where you could get on your phone, your cell phone, and talk to Muslims in Saudi Arabia over a platform like Facebook. For 14 centuries, there was nothing even close to that. If you wanted to preach the gospel to Muslims, you had to go to a Muslim land, and if you were even remotely successful, they were going to chop your head off. So it's very, very difficult. And now all of a sudden, we not only have open access to Muslims around the world, either through technology, so through the internet, where you can talk to Muslims in Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and so on, but also because of all the Muslims who've moved to the West and are now live down the street from us. So not only do we have that opportunity, we just have everything else that we need, right? I mean, we not only have that, we're the first generation that has open access to all of Islam's most trusted sources, right? So back in the day, most people wouldn't even have a Quran. Qurans were much harder to come by, especially in a decent translation just a few decades ago. Let alone having the hadith collections and the seerah and the tafsir. People didn't have that. So what this did was it allowed Muslim preachers to come into an area and spout all kinds of nonsense, saying, "Oh, you like science? Well, the Quran is a scientific miracle." And guess what? If you're talking to 20 people and 20 people have never read the Quran before, you can kind of get away with saying what you want. They could say, Islam is a religion where everyone's equal, and we got rid of slavery, and it's total nonsense. Muhammad was a champion of women's rights. Muslim preachers came to the West preaching this and won lots of converts, spouting total nonsense. Why? Because no one knew any better. And all of a sudden, we have open access to all their sources, and we can expose it. So there's completely new ground. The videos I made, there's so much more material in the Muslim sources that's just waiting to be brought to the surface, brought to the light. So many awesome new arguments waiting to be brought to the surface, brought to the light, that we could be very busy for the next couple of decades. But it's going to be one of the most awesome times in history, watching the fabric of Islam unravel, because it's been built like no other system. I'm not aware of any other system in all of human history that's been built on such a foundation of absolute lies, right? The things you hear about Islam, the Quran's been perfectly preserved, the Quran's a scientific miracle, Muhammad's the greatest man who ever lived. It's pretty much every argument that Islam is based on is something where if you did 5 minutes of research, you would see you're just being flat out lied to. and they built an entire massive global religion on a foundation of lies that can be easily exposed. Why? Because they built it on that foundation when there weren't people to expose it, right? That people didn't have the opportunity to take the Muslim sources and go around and expose this stuff. All of a sudden, we have that opportunity, and so these are going to be very, very, very fun times. Hang on. I saw a comment here. I'm seeing some comments. I wouldn't mind responding to them, yeah. So Melvin's Joy said, I tried searching for your videos on YouTube, and the top 20 results were news channels that had nothing to do with you. It's crazy, this censoring. Yeah, that is actually a problem, because if you were following me just a couple years ago, it was a pretty cool situation where my biggest source of views were as suggested videos. But you go back a few years ago, if you typed Muhammad into a search on YouTube, you typed anything to do with Muhammad, I would have between 3 and 5 of like the top 20 videos. If you typed in jihad, I would have like 3 to 5 of the top 20 videos. If you typed in Quran, I would have like 3 to 5 of the top 20 videos. Now, if you if you search for some topic like that, I won't be anywhere near the top 20. And so if you search, but what you will find is like a CNN special on this topic or something like that. That'll be up there. Even videos, as long as they come from news channels, even videos that have like 4,000 or 5,000 views. Meanwhile, my videos will have millions of views and just won't be ranked anywhere there. And by the way, that's official. That is, YouTube announced that it was doing that. They call it authoritative content. So they consider stuff from mainstream news channels to be authoritative content now. So they de-rank other stuff. They de-rank stuff that's not that. And it's really messed up, because a lot of people go to YouTube because they're sick of the other stuff, right? Like, they're sick of being lied to by the mainstream media. They're sick of that. So they go to YouTube, they follow someone that they trust, because you actually get to know people over time on YouTube. You get to know content creators on YouTube. Like I watch Tim Pool videos. I don't agree with Tim Pool on a lot of issues, but he does a pretty good job breaking down the stories that are going on that day. Again, it doesn't mean I agree with everything he says, but I trust him way more than I trust someone like a CNN anchor, right? So if I want to find out what's going on, and I've only got a few minutes, I'll probably click on like a Tim Pool video. So think about how that works. I trust this guy, even though I would disagree with him on a lot of things. I trust him more than I trust other people, and that's the reason I would go to YouTube to, check out the daily news stories. That's the reason I would go there and not to CNN. But now you've got YouTube saying, "Oh, we're going to push CNN on people." And so if you're looking up a topic, we're going to give you a CNN video. Well, the reason I'm on YouTube is because I don't want to see what CNN has to say on this. And by the way, guys, there's a reason for that, right? Once that started happening, once you have all the mainstream media, and not just like news channels, but like like the New York Times and stuff like that. So written media. Once you started having the internet take off, then people started going not to the New York Times, but to their favorite blogger to get their daily news. So people who wanted to read start going to a blogger that they trust rather than to the New York Times, which they don't trust. People who want to watch video of news, they stopped going to CNN. They started going to their favorite YouTuber to talk about the news. Well, that starts affecting people's, these companies, that starts affecting their revenue. And so what happens is those companies then start trying to dig up dirt on YouTube and have these scandals. And so if you remember, just a couple of years ago, you had what's called what was it called? Does anyone remember what it was called when they basically demonetized? The adpocalypse. They called it the adpocalypse, right? Where here's what happened: the Wall Street Journal. Not biased at all, right? The Wall Street Journal is one of these companies that's suffering because of the rise of alternatives to the mainstream media. But the Wall Street Journal went to some racist, like neo-Nazi or something video, and showed that there were Coca-Cola ads running on it. Now, the video, after years of being on the internet, the video only had like a couple hundred views. And the reason that there was a Coca-Cola ad on it was because this person had used a clip of someone else, and YouTube will monetize your video and give it to someone else if you're using clips of their stuff. So this guy wasn't even getting money. This guy, this white nationalist or white supremacist or whatever guy, wasn't getting any of the money. The money was going to a clip that he was using, that he was responding to, or something like that. So the Wall Street Journal takes these pictures showing that Coca-Cola ads are running on this racist's video. And then you do this big story on it. And you see this, you see how this is working? You pay money to Coca-Cola when you buy your Coke products. So you buy your Cokes. You buy your Cokes, and then the money goes to Coca-Cola, but then Coca-Cola spends money on ad revenue and gives it to YouTube to give to people whose videos ads are appearing on. But look whose videos the ads are appearing on. These white supremacists. And look, you have this money. You have your money that when you buy Coca-Cola products is going to white supremacists, right? It's trickling down to white supremacists. So YouTube is helping Coke fund white supremacists. And so what happened was the major advertising companies all said, "Oh, we're canceling ads to YouTube." So it was something like $16 billion worth of ads got canceled, and that was called the adpocalypse. And so that's when it was there was kind of a war that was going on. There was kind of a war that was going on between the mainstream media and the alternatives to that. And so these guys all decided to crack down. Not because it's serious, right? I mean, anyone could see through that story if you start looking at what's going on. But you can make a big scandal out of it. Oh gosh, Coca-Cola is funding white supremacists through YouTube. What are we going to do about this, right? You can make a huge story out of it. But the point of the story was these guys attacking YouTube because YouTube is destroying them, right? That's the purpose of the traditional media companies going after internet sources. But it worked. It worked. So YouTube had to react, and the first thing they did was they started, demonetizing everyone, all kinds of people's content if it's remotely sensitive stuff. So back in the day, if I made a video like back in the day, if it was a specific terrorist attack, that had been a policy for a long time. You can't monetize a video that's about an actual specific event. But I would have videos that were monetized, me talking about jihad in general, talking about the concept of jihad in general. Talking about all kinds of topics like that was perfectly fine. Now it's not. Now almost everything I put out gets demonetized. And sometimes when you see that it's monetized, it's because I've got clips of other people or a clip of a song or something like that. And that's what's actually getting the ad revenue. But sometimes if it's sometimes it'll squeak by. But the idea is YouTube had to sort of back down off that because YouTube makes its money off ad revenue, and then its ad revenue is massively threatened. So the creators had to take the brunt of that. But in order to get these people off its back longer term, right? So YouTube doesn't want CNN and the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times constantly posting about how YouTube is creating radicals and stuff like that. So what they do, so the agreement they came to is, well, we'll tell you what, we'll push your content on YouTube. We'll push your content for you. Will that help you back off? So now when you search for stuff, again, YouTube calls it authoritative content. The authoritative content is CNN, which, or other sites like it, which is garbage. How is CNN authoritative? CNN sucks. It's garbage. No one likes it. That's why its ratings have been plummeting. That's why people are going to alternatives. They're sick of it. But YouTube comes to an agreement. Oh, we're going to push. It's so lame. We're going to push CNN on people. So that's a sad situation we're in. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I know there's a ton more content, a ton more questions here. I'll get together once, or we'll jump on. I'll go live again here once or twice with a couple more people here before the year's out, and talk more about what's coming up in the new year, because we want some awesome stuff coming up in the new year. So all right, everyone, I'm going to sign out. I don't have an outlet because the outlets over here are these two lights, these two lamps that I have in the room. So my computer's about to die. My phone is about to die. So everything's about to die. So this seems like a good time to go ahead and wrap out. Just wanted to say Thanks for joining me here in the hotel room, because I had nothing to do. I would actually be normally during this time I would be working on like a script, preparing material, but the H button on my laptop is not functioning. I mean, it kind of functions. I have to like jam it down for the H button to work on this keyboard. So it was kind of a sucky time to be putting material together if the H button doesn't work. So decided it'd be cool to go on to just go live today, since I wouldn't be typing much. Knew I'd be out, and then once I came back, go live. So thanks for joining me here on Christmas, and see you again in a couple days or so. All right, I'm gonna go scrub up, go see how my brother's doing. Again, I'll probably post an update tomorrow. All right, shout out to the Boom Squad. And everyone who, a couple of you joined it during this live stream, and thanks to everyone for super chats, and again, thanks for being on. All right, catch you all later.